record. Oh, I'm going to get really good at this. Live on Facebook. And take its time to do all the buttons. I'll be like, we persevered.
Screen bud.
Every time I succeed at doing something, I'm always really excited. I was like, I did it.
Yes. Hey, that's the best way to keep growing success, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think it's really good for people to see us striving and sometimes having difficulty and then overcoming. Let's see here.
Yes.
Interview. Line coach. Or we'll just leave it at that. I gave it a little title.
Nice.
I feel like when I'm pausing to like wait for things to go in, I always do the same little song like Oh my goodness gracious.
How long it takes. It's like, why is it still loading?
Right? You're just like 10 minutes later.
Yes.
Okay. And then it always gives me this funny thing with my profile picture and the play button.
We are now streaming. Nice.
Oh, see, and then we have our lovely lot. All right, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience as we went through and dealt with technological difficulties. Yay, technology. But here's for persevering through the day. And today featured on Horsepower Empowerment Through a Connection in association with Global Equine Affiliates. Today we have the one, the only Katie Neligan, equine coach, life coach, and author and motivational speaker. And she is located in Boulder, Colorado. Her beautiful herd of horses. And I am just so excited to be able to have her here with us today as we do a live interview. And I will try to not be too distracted by delay in answering any questions or comments. Kate, thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited to get to share time with you, and especially with such a beautiful background. It's so nice. I miss Colorado.
Thank you. I know it's there. You can hopefully see the Rockies out there. That is Long's Peak, and we're on 15 acres here, the Mother Ranch, just outside of Boulder. So I'm happy to be here with you and everyone else.
Nice. It's so funny. I guess we're frozen. I have a really funny look on my face. I'm like,
oh no!
But I'm sure it'll eventually spin through, and we're recording. So on our side, at least, when the recording comes through, is that Sweetness? No.
This is Midnight, who just wanted to come say hi.
Hey, Midnight.
And he's got a huge bug on him, so you might see him do his little kick out, but he's going to join us.
All right. So, Kate, yeah, it's just stuck. Who knows when it'll actually come through officially with a live. Sorry again, technological difficulties. Apparently today is just supposed to be a technologically difficult morning, day. Hopefully it'll end eventually and we won't have to continue with the technological difficulties. But hey,
yes,
life is all about being flexible and taking things in stride.
I did a talk on Sunday night about patience, and I went, oh man, I really hope that is not because this week is going to require that.
But you're like, not this level, please. That would be great. Yeah. I don't need quite that much. So, Kate, can you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing over there? So I think, didn't you say you have just one of your own horses there, and then you have the rest are somebody else's? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So we're at the Mother Ranch in Longmont, Colorado, which is just outside of Boulder. And this herd, which all has their cute little butts to us right now, they are they are part of that herd, and the paint mare named Phoenix is my actual mare. I got her a couple months ago from Los Angeles, where I used to live, and
Oh, nice.
out to be here. So it's a big change for her. She was always in a stall, and now she's on 15 acres of pasture with a herd.
Oh, she must be in heaven.
She is, and she had never been turned out with another horse really ever. And so it was
Wow.
in your whole life, and then coming out and engaging with humans, and going from living in your house to being, you know, maybe in like Big Sky, Montana. Like, it's a big shift for her. So I've been really learning a lot from her about transition and change and adjusting to different space issues. So yeah.
Yeah. So what's that? Do you have friends out in that area? Like, has it been a big change for you as well? Or
Such a good question, because I've been thinking about friendships a lot lately. So you're picking up on something. Yeah, you know, most of my friends are still in Los Angeles or even back east where I'm originally from. And I've been here just over 2 years. And I feel like I'm still in that process of making good friends here. I spend a lot of time either coaching, some with my clients, or with the animals, and or both. So I feel like that, and now, you know, just being in the state of quarantine, it's been an interesting, I've been calling it self-cocooning because it feels better to call it that than quarantine. But yeah, it's not been as easy, especially this year, to start to develop new friendships. So, but Zoom has been awesome. Like, we can connect like this and people can get to know us and our energy that way. But I definitely feel like moving to Colorado was a big change for me from Los Angeles and living in a city. So Phoenix and I have that in common too. So
yeah, well, you know, it's kind of a beautiful thing, at least, because you have the support of each other.
we do. And I definitely have been where she's been. And so, you know, I really just wanted to give her time to be a horse. We haven't even rode yet. She's done some coaching. She loves it. She's so good at it.
Nice.
But yeah, it's definitely been a process for her to be a part of a herd in this capacity. So
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your beautiful transparency and vulnerability and sharing what your experience is in that transition. And I love that you said self-cocooning, because that like resonated with me a lot more, because I feel like a lot of people are taking this time to really process and take a look at their lives and what's going on, and shift and change and grow. Right. And imagining that people will be able to take that opportunity and just come out and be this beautiful butterfly. And yeah, that's just a beautiful image to me. So thank you for sharing that.
yeah, you got it. That came in right when we went into COVID, was to just see if I could hold this as a process of the chrysalis and who we're becoming as a humanity and myself. And I felt actually really good just having a couple months to focus in the beginning. And now being an extrovert, it's like 4 months into this. I feel like you're an extrovert also.
What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm an
also
ambivert,
find a
but
lot
I'm
of horse
heavy
people.
on the extroverted side.
Well, a lot of horse people can be very introverted, has been my experience, right? Or
Yeah.
a lot of empathic, sensitive people are very introverted. And so, oh, look who we have here. So
It's gonna. Oh, she's gonna like. This is really beautiful, you guys. Oh yes.
it's time to rest, didn't we? Oh, you still have the fly on you, Mama. I'm sorry. I know it's still on you. You want help? You got it? You got it? I know it's still on you. Oh. So they have these like monster flies out here, and when they first came, I honestly, we thought they were the murder hornets, and I was like, "What is happening this year?" But they're not. They're just huge flies. Good girl.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much when they lay down. I'm sad that she didn't roll, but it's okay, because it's just like the cutest thing in the world when these giant beings like are like rolling around and their like legs are flailing in the air, and it's, oh God, it never gets old. It's like a donkey brain. Like, it's just like I could listen to that for forever. And yeah, no, so the giant horseflies, that's what they are,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, horseflies. You guys, they're like they're literally like this long. They're this long. They're just massive in their bite, and they're awful.
It's funny she laid down right as we were talking about chrysalis and all of that adjustment, because it's a time for rest, and she probably would have stayed down right there on camera for us, but that fly was still on her, and she's like, "Meh, not having it."
Not having this experience. Yeah, it's just so many beautiful things to just unpack in there with transition and making sure that we have the proper support. And, when we come into new places and we can't necessarily find the support in the immediate community to be able to have the strength and interest in reaching out and creatively seeking what it is that we need to find. Um, yeah, in January, I was so frustrated, feeling like I didn't have that tribe of people, the people that I was looking for. And so I just started reaching out to people on Facebook on the recommended friends list. And I got sick of myself bitching. I was just like, this is dumb. Like, I'm over it. Like, I don't even want to listen to myself about it.
Yeah.
And so I started reaching out, and I found all these amazing people in the world who were doing incredible things and had this beautiful growth mindset and were actively trying to help other people. And I would reach out to them and be like, thank you for what you do to make the world a better place. I
Mm.
appreciate you. And without any expectation of anything in return, like some people wrote back to me, some people didn't, and all of it was fine. But just to start surrounding myself with more and more people that were like, in that mindset, that energetic kind of frequency, that they really wanted to actively make a difference and have people I could collaborate with and just have those deeper conversations with. And that was really beautiful, and just be held in a different way. And I just started to build more and more of this beautiful community. And now I know I feel like at least 100 new people from all over the globe that have
Nice.
these incredible stories. And I feel I'm just in such a different mind space and headspace. And I've transitioned a whole bunch in the last 7 months myself, interpersonally and humbly, looking at the things inside of myself that needed to change. So, and that's another reason why I feel so lucky to get to talk to you and our connection, because you're such a remarkable person. But enough about me. I was just throwing that out there in case it met you in some way
No,
to
I love
help.
that. One of the things you've already inspired from before our talk before this and now is, yeah, just reach out. Just, be proactive about if you want more friends, reach out. If you want more connections, if you want to create something, just reach out. And you said to me before, the worst you can get is a no or ignored, and that's totally okay. It's okay. Rejection is something that's actually my first experience with the horses was my mare wouldn't go on a trail ride with me one day, and this was years ago in Malibu, and I was so upset, and I just got so inner triggered that I had to sit down on the bench outside of her paddock and it was like a movie. I just saw all these images of rejection come up in front of my face, and I was like, wow, what is that horse doing for me to be able to look at this kind of what I'd call the shadow side, but the darker
Yeah.
side of
Mm-hmm.
the process. And then I literally just kind of sat with how uncomfortable it was, cried a little bit, kind of held myself and my own energy, and then went, all right, you know what, and back then I was in a different world with horses. A horse couldn't say no to you back then, right? Because I had learned the old way, which was very much that you're the leader, you're the boss, it's your way. If that's the horse misbehaving. And clearly she was just trying to say, I don't feel like it today. And that was really the only time she had ever said no to a trail ride with me. And I listened to her, and now I know so much better that, of course the horses get choice, of course, but it's been a journey. But that rejection thing, I feel like they've helped me so much with, and so many of my clients too, because one of my processes is go say hello to a horse, put your hand out. And if people don't get that hello back, there's a lot of stories that come up, right? Stories of usually it's either I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, that horse doesn't like me, or that horse is a jerk, right? And we're blaming. And so it's so fascinating to see the stories that happen naturally when we start working with horses because of who they are and the way they unlock our inner worlds. So yeah, they've helped me so much overcome rejection, and I love you're speaking to my extroverted heart, which is like, just reach out, it's okay. So
Yeah, absolutely. Because like it's so
yeah.
easy to fall into apathy when you're struggling, right? You're in a new place, like you get really overwhelmed by like all the pieces that you have to like put together when you come into a new place, and sometimes we just forget the things that we already know.
Yeah. Yeah. Or there's that bit of like, we're in self-cocooning, can we even reach out to someone and connect? Because it's like, people are more closed down to meeting, but right now the world is somewhat open, and or at least the United States is, and it's like, why not reach out? Why not go for what you want? I'm a big firm believer in, like, we have a saying from my master's program, spirit meets you at the point of action, but it's like, take an action, show the universe you're committed, you're open, what you want. And then usually you will see that being met, right? You'll see that. And it's not going to necessarily be every single time, but
No.
it's definitely the right people, right? And as you said before, I think you said like your tribe, and I've been thinking a lot about that recently too, like, who are my soul friends, who's my soul family? And having Phoenix here, like, she really is so connected to this herd and has been since day one. They like adore her,
Nice.
and they keep her in line because she's young and wants to be lead mare without any real understanding of what it's like to be in a herd. He's got that, but it's it's time, I think, for us to find our soul family, our soul tribe, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing that like you can meet really good people and appreciate them without them being in that category.
true.
And like we can give people access to different layers of ourselves while still being authentic. And that's totally okay. And that's what boundaries are about, and the importance of like communicating our needs and honoring other people, like asking what somebody else's needs are, because we don't always know. So yeah, it's just,
You're like I swear you're like in my life this week, or in my brain. I'm like, how did you know to say that too? It's so yeah, someone called the other day and was like talking about boundaries with me while I was sitting here at the ranch, and I'm like, we don't always know each other's needs, so it's better for us to just be upfront and clear about them. And that's how the horses are. Like, there's no shame in ever, like, when they need water, they need water. The lead mare will always take what she needs, not from a selfish place, but really from this place of like survival and thriving and feeling full, so then we can take care of others. So I've learned so much from the horses.
it's
And
beautiful.
Phoenix is listening to us right there.
She's like, what's that, mom? Thanks for the acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because like sometimes we don't even realize what our needs are until we start dialoguing with people and feel like we're in a safe space to even explore that side of ourselves. Like people are just, especially people pleasers. I feel like really struggle with this.
Yes. Which is a lot of my clients, a lot of sensitives, and a lot of women that don't necessarily know their needs. So like, one of the first things we'll do is a needs assessment, and also differentiate between needs and desires, right?
Needs and wants. I love that conversation.
Yeah.
I love it so much. It's the one thing like my family has, like, from the time I was a small child, my dad was always like, do you need it or do you want it? And just very clear, because most of what we feel like we need is actually what we want.
Yep.
And it's just a fascinating process to me in my brain. Like, and I call myself out on it all the time too, because it's just so funny.
Yes. Yes. And what was so cool for me, the book that I read that changed my life this year, was Mama Gina's School of Womanly Arts, which is hilarious because I've had it on my bookshelf for years.
Interesting.
Was asking me more about like, what is femininity, and a lot of Phoenix's teachings is about feminine energy. And so then I pulled that book out and I started reading it, and I'm like, it's also really okay to be fully in touch with our desires.
Yes.
Writing them down, to be thinking about them, dreaming about them, giving ourselves that, because especially as we have been in more of a restricted energy because of what's going on, there's still ways that we can meet those desires and be with them. And for me, it's really helped put me actually back in my body and in my senses to be thinking about desires, even if they're not instantaneously gratified, right? Which I think also so much of us are just so focused on instant gratification rather than like the resiliency of what it takes to get to our big dreams,
Yes.
it's
Patience,
gonna,
what?
yeah. Patience is the word of the week. It's the word of the week for me.
I love that you use the word desire instead of want, because for me, desire has a more natural flow to it and a more feminine energy, whereas want is like really like hammering down in like this sort of like scarcity mindset that goes with want. I don't know. That was just something that came to me. It's interesting. What are your feelings about that?
Yeah, it's what was so bizarre to me was that my TEDx talk was the theme of that event, because the TEDx's have themes. It was on desire. And so I had to do a decent amount of research, and desire is a complicated thing, because on one side, it really does create that kind of like insatiable, like we're not, our ego just has these pulls, and then how do we differentiate between the ego pull and the heart pull, right? And that's been a huge part of my life, having
Yeah.
been in corporate America and pretty ego driven, honestly. And then the horses humbled me completely, and got me really into like, what are my heart desires, right? And that's service, and that's beauty, and that's nature, and freedom, and those kind of, higher qualities, if you'll call them that. But yeah, it's desire is, it's really just knowing like, where is it coming from and
Yeah.
why, right? And
What
not
need
just,
are you trying to fill?
yeah. And a lot of things I'll have people write down is like, well, I want this job. And I'm like, okay, so I get that, but how do you want to feel? Like, what's the feeling it's going to provide? Because that's really usually what we're after. And then if we can provide those feelings, regardless of what situation, then we really are empowered, right? We really have the
Yeah.
ability to create from within, instead of external reality being what impacts our happiness. And we've had to learn that, I think, through self-cocooning, is that external reality is not the key to our happiness. So
Yes, our internal world frames our external world and how we react to everything within it.
yes.
It's like, if you can't control what's inside of you, then how can you expect to have a better experience with those that you engage with? It's like you're giving your power away if you just tell other people, be like, no, you have to say a certain thing. You have to act a certain way, because I am not empowering myself to control my emotional reaction to that and how my internal world, physically, mentally, spiritually, like, it's a really interesting thing. That's what I love helping empower people in, is just those like rudimentary things and realizations, because it seems that a lot of people don't realize that they have that power. I like to call it a superpower anymore. Emotional regulation is a superpower.
Oh gosh, yes. I love that. Yes.
Through empowering yourself, you empower others, because having the strength and the ability to communicate transparently, kindly, and authentically, you like create that safe space for other people to do the same. And they don't necessarily have that space with other people.
Very true. And then the horses hold it beyond, above and beyond. I feel like what we may ever get to as humans, my aspiration is to be more like them, because
Yes, be
they're
more present.
just being that presence of unconditional love is enough for people to, have breakthrough, emotional releases, self-regulation, clarity, you name it. It's just their power and who they're being is off the charts.
Yeah, they're just like processing for us. They're blowing out. That was the you heard in the background, you guys. They're just
yeah, she's doing a lot right now. She's like, yeah. It's really interesting. So you've got her eating, and then you got Phoenix kind of hanging there supporting her, kind of behind her. So
she's like, oh, I know what mom's doing. She's doing that work that she does sometimes.
well, Sweetness, the mini donkey, when he comes back on, he's like, there are people in those boxes, and like he loves so much. Like, no matter what he's doing, if a client shows up, he just leaves and beelines it right to them. He loves helping people. Like, he's so on purpose. It's the coolest thing.
That's funny. I love miniature donkeys. They're the best. Well, hey, let's loop back to the beginning.
Yes.
So what brought you, like, what's your why for doing the work that you do as an equine coach?
Yes, I love this question. I've been thinking about why a lot lately. It depends on on essentially which part of my work, but ultimately it is really to alleviate suffering and pain and that kind of ego grasp that we can easily have because it's life as humans, and to help people really understand and live from their authentic self, their true nature, by learning from horses. And my why personally is they have taught and changed me so much. I am such a better version of who I am because of them, and I want people to have that. I want people to know how much power lives in the human animal bond, in nature, that they can receive just by being with them, quite frankly. And then, ideally I'm there as a bridge or a guide to help strengthen that connection and that thing. In many ways to translate, right? Since they're not, speaking human English or out loud. So yeah, and then, for the horses, it's really my biggest thing is I want people to see their gifts and really their spiritual gifts, right? So because I've been through and I've seen, being a lifelong horsewoman, I've seen the shit, honestly, that people put them through, and the disrespect. I've seen them go to slaughter. I've seen them, be given up on, and I've seen a lot, and I've seen a lot of dominance with them, when even with good intentioned horse people. And I want them to have a better life. I really do. That's what Phoenix is Human wanted for her, why she gave her to me. And we brought her out from Los Angeles. Like, she had a really good life there, and this is even better. And, my last mare was a rescue who would have been euthanized because there's no use for her because she wasn't doing trail rides. And she's the best healer on the planet. To this day, I've worked with, hundreds of healers and coaches myself personally, and has as friends, and never met a horse like that was able to heal people as fast and deeply as she did. It was unbelievable. So yeah, I want people to see the horses for who they are, and I want people to see themselves for who they are, is ultimately, I think, what it comes down to.
That's really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that and for what you provide to the community. It's so incredibly important. I hope that more people see this and are drawn to you, and that you're able to help them. Speaking of which, are you able to do virtual work from your place?
Yes, that has it's so funny because I was like, what am I going to do? I love bringing people out here. But I have, and I was going back to Los Angeles every month because I have a lot of clients there just because I lived there for so long. But so I was like, ooh, this is going to be interesting. And through some guidance, got, you know what, just get on Zoom. And so it's been really neat. There's Wi-Fi here. So I've been doing stuff like this here, and essentially, or even with the phone, with FaceTime. And this is what I want other practitioners to know. Like, you can easily grab, even a mobile hotspot and bring your laptop out, and the horses get it. Everything's just energy anyways. And so I've been doing privates. I've been doing group workshops and teachings this way, did virtual retreat this way, and also
nice
weekly teachings. Yeah. So it's just been, I'm super grateful for Zoom, and I had to pivot, and I still prefer in person, but I can do this for as long as it takes,
Oh, that's excellent. Well done.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's a big deal. Not a lot of people have been able to do that. Yeah, being in rural areas and not having that good of reset. I don't know how all that technological aspect works out, because I'm just like, how does a mobile hotspot work if you don't have cell reception for the mobile hotspot?
Then you have a bit more of a challenge.
Because I know that's what some people run across to a degree. It's been rather interesting. I'm super curious. So you did a retreat virtually. What did you do?
So, and I just did a VIP day virtually, which I really thought I'd be doing. I always wanted to do VIP days in person and just play and have fun with people and also do coaching. But it's, all been on virtual. And the other fun thing is I'm mostly working with these guys, but I'll work with other people and their horses now too, through their Facebook or Zoom. And I'll be able to read, because I do animal communication too, I'll be able to read their horses for them. But it was very similar to how I do a workshop. It's just, we were supposed to do a retreat for veterinary women here in Colorado, and at the last minute basically had to be like, it was right at the beginning of kind of COVID, and we just said, okay, we're going to take it all virtual, and it worked just as well. It was so awesome. The
That's
horses
fantastic.
know, they seem to know. Although, now I'll give you, I think maybe we can sit with Sweetness, because I know how much you love the mini donkey.
I do. You guys are going to see this donkey. I want to hug him so bad. Is he not the cutest thing ever? Don't you just want to
You
like
have the bug on you?
your screen and hug this donkey?
Oh, we'll bring it right down to this.
Oh.
Here we go. And this is, I move things around and we get to hang.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
There you go. Can you feel the virtual hug?
Oh, I can't. Thank you. Oh my God, I love you.
He's the best. You'll have to come meet him.
I'm absolutely coming to see you. I'm going to jump in my truck here in a minute. I'll be there. Give me like 3 days.
Yeah, we've been sitting together almost daily now. I'm waiting for Phoenix to start to sit with me. She's not there yet, but she's a little busier of a girl. But him and I have been sitting together daily, and it's like best thing in the world. So.
Oh, for sure. So that's your why, and that's beautiful. So what are some of the models or the model that has informed your work as an equine coach?
I love it. Yeah. So, it's been so eclectic at this point. So I'm certified in E3A, Equine Experiential Education. And I did that because I really would love to be supporting corporate more, just because that's my background. And I've seen a lot of culture issues, and there's just some basic shifts I think corporate and nonprofits can make. So E3A guided me there. My early trainings, I mean, gosh, I've trained with so many different natural horsemanship folks, and Liberty trainers, and I love all of that. And then early days, I was friends with EGALA folks, and we were hosting them, and quite frankly, like it was a decent foundation. I don't use the EGALA model at all, but I'm not great at clean language because I really feel like the horses do and the donkeys do have names, and it's important for us to
honor what you like and what you're good at.
Yeah. So for me, I've taken from a lot of these different things and kind of mixed them and baked my own cake and my own formula. But the biggest, honestly, influence is my master's program, which was in spiritual psychology, and it's 8 counseling strategies and 26 communication skills.
Fascinating.
And, yeah, a lot of it is that. And then over the last couple of years, it's been all the animal communication training I've done, because I feel like if I can get, clear information from the animals, that's really important to give to people too.
And who did you study with for that?
Animal communication has been a bunch of different folks. So I've done, there's a woman, Pam Allen LeBlanc, who she would be fun to talk to. She teaches it. So I did that here in Colorado. I've done a course with a pretty big animal communicator in LA. And then I've dabbled in lots of small courses. So I personally have 3 or 4 animal communicators that I work with for my own animals, because it's sometimes we get too emotionally connected to them. It's not always easy to read them. But then I've been doing it with this herd pretty easily, and doing horse wisdom readings and that kind of thing for folks, so that if they need a message and they want to get it from a horse, they can ask a horse instead of asking a card deck or like an intuitive. So it's been fun. There's been about 5 or 6 classes I've taken, all from different people, and all have different ways of getting you in there, but a lot of it's through meditation. Honestly, a lot of it's through just being in the heart. And then the last model that's been coming in lately that we're doing is HeartMath. So HeartMath and horses, and HeartMath being a science research-based way of understanding the heart coherence and the heart as its own brain and system for communication and connection. That's been the other thing that I've been doing. Okay.
I love HeartMath.
Isn't it great?
It's so great. I love it because it gives you like science. It gives you evidence and like what you're doing and how it's impacting you. And I keep waiting for them to like get a thing that connects to like the horse's ear or something.
Yes,
Some
I
sort of
know. They've got
pulse
to get
readers
there.
are like on their leg where like their artery is, and we'll get there. I'm sure it'll happen. It'll be really fun to get to read. I mean, technology is advancing so rapidly. I'm sure we'll get to have more fun tools to get to be able to assess the impacts that we're having both on the human and the horse. Christina
Yes.
Rose says that's fascinating. It is. I love
Yeah.
it. Um,
Yeah.
so it's the HeartMath and the M Wave.
Yes. And then if you want to drop this link to HeartMathHorses.com is a program that we're starting into August. We're doing a weekly class. And my friend is a practitioner. She's a certified practitioner. And then I'm a partial, like I did the Ad Heart and have done the retreat with HeartMath, but I'm bringing the horse side and she's bringing the HeartMath side. But it's the greatest blend, those two modalities, because the horses are really about helping us get into that heart space more.
No, that's excellent. And then from an academic standpoint, Michelle Pikel through Horse-Powered Reading is now doing horse-powered math. So kids can have that help for academics for reading and math specifically, which I'm really excited about. And I'm like one lesson away from having that certification. So that's
Wow, that's
cool. I'll
cool.
drop you a line. You can check it out later.
Right.
But it, yeah, horsepower in the chat.
It's so funny. I honestly, when I put the shirt on this morning, forgot that your whole thing was horsepower. I honestly did. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so perfect to have like the horse girl horsepower thing. It's like,
Yeah, that's what her shirt says, ladies and gentlemen. Horse
I
girl,
know.
horsepower. And
I
yeah,
love it.
and I love that because it's all about empowering others in as many ways as we can. And that beautiful, like the rising tide raises all ships. Is why even though I'm an equine life coach, I'm still just like, Kate's amazing. She's an equine life coach too. Go see her. It's not going to hurt my feelings. There's like billions of people on the planet that need our help.
I know. And
All
we need
of
one
them.
of us in like every hub. I mean, literally every city. This is like,
That's
yeah,
the goal.
yes, every city. We do. Yeah.
We'll get there. So many things. So how long have you been in practice again as an equine coach?
It's been about, this summer will be 6 years, and that's still so wild to me. And then two years in, you want to lay down? You good? 2 years in Colorado. So
Right on.
was all in Los Angeles, and it is so fun to work at other people's ranches too. Like that's been one of my greatest joys, is like working out of a ranch in Austin, Texas, or Napa or New Jersey, and being able to have this network of other equine practitioners is like, that's been one of my favorite things too, to support other ranches and other nonprofits and rescues and whatnot too.
That's
It's been
awesome.
back to them.
No, I love that. What would you say are some of the obstacles that you've overcome to be able to accomplish your dreams and doing the work with horses?
Yeah, I love that question. I think the first year I was so scared of this, and that's why I actually love helping new equine coaches get started, because the first year I was so terrified of doing this work because it felt so big to me, and I had a
Yeah.
big who am I, and I was like, this is my hobby, right? This is these guys are my greatest joy and on earth, and I was like, who am I to get to spend my days with them? And I had, on this huge corporate path in the movie studio, we're all doing marketing, and I thought I was kind of throwing that away, and I honestly thought everyone was going to judge me, right? I was like, I can't do this, I'm giving up too much. And then I also was quite frankly scared that I was going to bring my corporate self, which was very type A, to the horses and to my hobby and ruin it, right? That would suck if I did that. And so I was like, I can't ruin my hobby. So I avoided it for a year. So what happened is, during that time when I had left corporate America that first year, I had this horse Felici, and she literally just, lay down. Oh, all right. face there. He's like, oh, he's just cuddling.
Oh, Kate, I forgot. Did we share this to your page?
No, go for it.
So let's see if I can do it in the middle of it.
Yeah, share it in
Continue
Equine
on.
Rockstars. That'd be great. That'd be great. Equine Rockstars might have more listeners there right now in that Facebook group. But yes, I think that more listeners meaning on my business page, because the business pages are on Facebook are not seen as much. So I
was just going to put it on your basic one.
Oh, personal?
Yeah.
Personal would be great. That sounds good too. Yeah. Personal is better than business page. So
like, we'll see if it'll let me. Oh, it's being goofy about it.
Oh no.
Technology doesn't like us this morning.
I should have realized to do that too. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. No, I found it. It finally allowed me to do it. It was like, nope, she doesn't exist. She's not one of your friends. And I'm like, stop it. She's too. Lies. All right.
No,
it's shared. It says we've been going for 38 minutes. Didn't that go by fast?
So yeah, I had to get over a lot of this like stupid ego mindset stuff, and not stupid. It really was. I was trying to honestly protect myself, which is the service of the ego, I guess. But it was really, I had to just keep taking steps and just do it anyways. And I had a mentor at the time, and was really learning from her. And so I think that it just became this process of committing to it over time. And I remember one of the first things I did was a corporate group, and it was with a big gaming company in LA. And the guy, one of the head guys, turned to me, he said, I thought I had a cool job. I play video games every day for a living. He's like, you get to be outside all day with horses. And I just shifted in that moment. I'm like, the only one judging you is you. It does not matter. It does not matter about what people think about me, that I made this huge career change, that I'm coming out with more of my woo-woo, right? That I'm gonna really dive into this place of like, yeah, I talk to horses and I help people. And it was a very different lifestyle change for me, but yeah. I can do it. Anyone listening can do it. And right? Yes. He's like
stand up into your power.
Exactly. Get up and go. Right, buddy? Yes. All right.
He's so cute. I love it. Way to stand up and help people. Show us how it's done, sweetness.
Yes.
He's so great. Right. We have a question from Kristen Rose. Awesome. Is the HeartMath when the horse gives you reading instead of a tarot card reading?
Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. So HeartMath is its own platform of research and processes and exercises to be in the heart space through coherence. The thing that came through when I sat in meditation when self-cocooning happened, when COVID happened, I said, well, how am I going to serve now? And what came through really clearly was to do two things, one of which was horse wisdom readings, which is, yes, the horse is actually giving you the reading instead of the cards. And what I do is I'll take the question and I'll bring it to the horse and I'll see what guidance they have. And usually it's amazing. It's stuff I would never come up with on my own because they have such clear feedback and it's usually pretty direct. And so I've been doing those. I've done a few of those and we'll be doing another one soon. So yeah, Equine Rockstars Facebook group is a good way to stay abreast of all that stuff and know what's going on. But
Equine Rockstars,
yeah, is the Facebook group. And I'll post usually the events and stuff there, or my personal Katie Neligan. I go by both Kate and Katie. That has other information there where I'll post those events. But that's what a horse wisdom meeting is. Yes, you'd bring your question. We'll go to the horse, and then and usually you pick which horse you feel most drawn to, which I always find fun because each of the horses have their own unique teaching, so that adds a layer to it.
That's for sure. That is something I love about horses. There are no two horses that are the same. It's just like the same with people. Kristen Rose says, horse wisdom readings, amazing. So thank you so much, Kristen, for asking the question. It's nice when we get to have some engagement back and forth. Yes. I mean, I'm always happy to talk to amazing people and just kind of like roll with the, however things come forth. But it's fun to get to have people check in. And thank you to those who are still watching. And we'll watch in the future when we're no longer live, but things are still recorded. Hopefully people are getting value out of the interviews that we're bringing forth. So what would you advise, since you said you enjoy helping new practitioners in the equine therapy and learning field? Sashka Maria says, totally, with a cool smiley face with sunglasses.
Nice.
Thank you. What advice would you give new
And I
practitioners?
have to wear these because the sun in Colorado is so intense. So otherwise,
It is really bright in Colorado. I don't know what the deal is there, but it's definitely, and it doesn't matter where you are in Colorado, I've noticed, because I've been to many, many, many places in Colorado, because I love it as a state. If there's something like really powerful and like energetically about the state of Colorado, on top of it just being like ridiculously gorgeous.
super grateful to be here. Yeah, this is a dream 3 years in the making to move out of LA. So it finally happened.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, advice for new practitioners.
Yes, just do it. I mean, how many times have we said the Nike slogan in our lives, right? But like, just do it. You know, ultimately, I feel like there's two major skill sets to get confident in, and often it is confidence that people struggle with the most, and that I love to help people with. Because I don't know why I've always naturally had confidence, but I just have, and so I'm like, want people to have that, because then you don't get stopped, you don't get stuck. So the two areas to be really confident around, one is the facilitation skills, right? And so there's ways to practice that. There's ways to get training and understanding how to facilitate, ask great questions, read a horse, read people, work with your intuition, all of that. And then the other is just to be really confident about the horses and who the horses are, their gifts, how they show up, how to honor them. How to clear them after they're picking up negative energy from people, how to, give them space and choice. Like right now, they're off in the field. Before, they were with us for almost the whole interview, right?
Yeah, it's true. They were.
And I'm not here trying to be like, let's get them on camera because it's a better experience. It's like, no, like they've got full choice. And I'm super grateful they were here earlier. And I got to sit with Sweetness for you guys so you could connect with his energy.
Yes, thank you for that.
My energy is like good, but Sweetness is like the best. He's like the little Buddha on earth. Like I'm yet to get to. So I love to bring little Buddha to people when I can. So it's developing confidence, and it's step by step, right? Like my practice has unfolded and changed so much over the years as I've learned more. And I'm a big fan of like going and learning from people and following what feels the best for you, right? It does not need to look like someone else. And it does, if it's like, and the other thing too is to truly believe and know that you can make money doing this, right? And that it's just about treating it like a business, like really starting to think through and treating things not like a hobby, which I see a lot of econ practitioners do. They do treat it like a hobby, but really to step into it as a business. I have 20 years of marketing, so I like to also help people with the marketing side, so that they feel like, okay, I can do this, I can share about this, I can make money from this, because we have to be financially sustainable for ourselves and for our horses. So
absolutely,
that is
they need to eat too.
Yeah, and they eat a lot, as we know.
Oh my gosh, they're hungry. They're big creatures.
Lot. They're not the cheapest of the animals, that's for sure.
It's so worth it.
Oh yes, completely.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for all of that. I'm like, oh, there were so many questions. You know how funny that is? Like sometimes in life, like you have so many thoughts at one time. You're just like, I don't know which one to pick. So my next, there it is. Pick it out of the ether. So we talked about your big goal, your big dream of like the ultimate thing that you would like to do. And you have a background in feature films, right?
Yes.
And so I have two questions. One, we'll do this in a two-part segment because this came to me earlier. Now I'm remembering. One was, have you worked in any feature films that had horses in them?
No.
Okay.
But I've seen many of them. And I recommend for all horse lovers, Equus Film Festival. So Equus Film Festival was in New York City for a couple of years. It's moved around. You can even do like a local Winnie, like film festival to show shorts, but all of those films have been curated. And yeah, I'm hoping to do more with horses in film in the future, because those are actually my two loves completely blended together. Is movies, and that was most of my life, was working in the movie business, American Film Institute and Lionsgate and whatnot, and then horses. And like you, one of my big missions is like, how can we give the horses a voice more, a platform? How do we share about them? How do we share about their gifts? Like, I literally would do like 10 Zoom calls a day, every day for the rest of my life, if it was to be able to talk about like who the horses are and what we can do with them and how to get excited about them, because then we protect what we love. And my whole thing is like, we need to start protecting these horses, especially the wild horses. But no, I never got to work on a horse film, but I've seen many of them, and I have worked with clients who are connected to horse films. So I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, no, I'll get somebody on here eventually, because I do have people on my my Facebook friends list that have experience as stunt riders, and I'm hoping to be able to connect with somebody in Seattle, Washington, who is kind of one of the leaders in the Seattle Knights, and talk to them about how they work with their horses in jousting and archery, and doing, you know, the different sword work on the horses, and how, yeah, that whole experience. I'm really curious how the horses engage when somebody shows up that day, like having a rough day, and getting to do that level of intensity and work they put. So that'll be fun.
And I do think we have to take a stand for their welfare in that, like all animals in any film and in any way that we use, although I hate that word, so I use partner.
Yeah,
We work with horses, we have to think through that, because, you know, my favorite equine coach, I should not have favorites, I always say this, but my favorite equine coach partner is this horse named Cracker, which, you know, it does not feel like it's his name, but that is his name. He's this incredible buckskin in Los Angeles that I work with, but every time I go home or I go back, I have to catch myself. Los Angeles
you
is
can
not
have more than one home. It's okay.
Okay, good. Thank you. Because then I have like 3 or 4.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine to have
Okay,
more
good.
than one home.
Thank you. I haven't needed to hear that, because yes, Los Angeles
You're
is still
welcome.
for me. So he's actually been in the movie business. He's a Hollywood horse, and he's been he's done a lot of filming of TV shows and whatnot. And so my friend got to adopt him because, you know, he actually had some physical issues because he was pushed a little bit too hard
Yeah.
in the film world. And that bums me out. But I think he's okay, because he's not really interested in doing like a bunch of barrel racing stuff. He loves doing the healing work and the coaching. He loves people. He loves their emotions. He's like, gets right in your face. And he's one of the most gentle horses I've ever met in my life. Yeah, I'm obsessed with him. So, but I do have to, like, how do we take care of those horses a little better because of what they do be doing in film? And yeah, and we had some film horses that were also connected to the Hollywood world up in Malibu when I first started. So one of my heart horses, Bear, another buckskin, also connected in that space. So yeah, I think it's just horses are part of our life, so there's always going to be movies about them. It's just, how can we film with them with the utmost respect, right? And not just
absolutely. And that's why I want to have some of the conversations that I just discussed, so that we can have that be more like open and transparent with the public, and how we can help serve that experience as a community. Because there's a lot of pressure, is my understanding from the people that I know that are in the industry. And like,
yes.
I mean, people are there filming, you know, for what, like sometimes 16 hours a day. Yeah, I mean, like that's a real number that I've heard from different people in the industry. And, you know, like, and if you're expecting animal, I mean, they're not in every scene, but at all. But I mean, it's still the kind of that mindset of like, push, we have to get this done. We have to do this over again. And yeah, it can be a bit much. So it's an interesting process.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for talking about all of that. So my last question for you for today is, who inspires you?
besides the horses?
Yeah, besides, I mean, like maybe they're the only ones that inspire you. Like the whole world is kind of crazy right now. They're all, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm always interested to hear. I've gotten such like a wide array of answers to this particular question. And so I love asking it because I think it's also really important for people to be able to stay in a place to be inspired.
Yes, I love it. Yes. Yeah, it's good to think of who inspires you. And then I love the psychology projection work, which is also like if you see it in someone else, it's also in you. And how do we claim that for ourselves, that we are also inspirational? But yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
I think like maybe the top 5 list is all the animals, all the animals, especially the horses. And the goats. I work with goats too, which they're right here on the ranch.
Like, where are they? I haven't seen them yet today.
We could, I'd have to walk up there, but we can go see them. The Wi-Fi does work up with them. And Mother Nature, the earth, right? Just learning from her and as her own being. The woman who runs this ranch inspires me. Her name's Julia. Julia. Yes, and she also goes by Julie. But she, you know, having this place and calling it the Mother Ranch and having the way it's set up and the work that she does and the art that she puts out in the world very much inspires me. You know, she's always in that, how do I become a better version of myself today? And so she's always an inspiration to me, what she's overcome in her life.
Like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's like my fairy godmother in Colorado. I don't know how I got so lucky to find this place. I really don't. It's just incredible. So I stay grateful about that as often as possible. My mom, who I think is incredible.
I love that.
And look at the horses!
Oh, look, they're coming running.
Wow, there we go, guys. A little. Hi, what did you all run in for? They all came in a line. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. They're just like, inspiration, what?
What are you guys doing? Of course, Sweetness is like out in the field, like whatever, horses.
I'm eating grass.
He does his own thing. And the thought I was thinking right after my mom is just like the old version of myself who had a lot of self-hatred and a little bit more like a definitely ego propensity and some addictions that really decided that, and I was an atheist, right? So like all these things, and really decided to go get support and to step into spiritual psychology and to change your life. So that version of me that was like, there's got to be something bigger here than just this crazy ego I carry around.
That is so beautiful. I love that so much. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable and transparent and sharing that. And yeah, that's really cool.
Thank you for your awesome questions and your candor and your authenticity and for caring about the horses and for doing what you do. So thank you.
You're very welcome. It is my pleasure. I appreciate your kind words and your time and that of your beautiful herd and just sharing that beautiful space. Like, it's just nice to even just see and interact with Colorado. I sometimes forget how much I miss it.
I get it. Yeah. I love being able to bring this to people if I can. So I was like, can we do it with the horses?
I was like, yes, can we? That would be amazing.
Yeah. It adds another layer of fun. So.
Oh, it absolutely does. And so we came through here and Saskia said, and I really hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, film wranglers rule the roost on set. And then Kristen Rose said, wow, that was beautiful about your share. So that's really cool. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Kristen. So Kate will be kind enough to be joining us in the future. Forget what day it is because I'm not sure we nailed it down completely. But she's going to be joining us to do a free activity. I think we're doing it with the horses, right?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it with them.
Yeah, so not today though. But in the near future, like probably in the next couple weeks, we will be doing a free activity for our global community. She is being incredibly generous with her time. I imagine it'll be at least 30 minutes. and we'll get to give you more details. Stay tuned for details.
Yeah.
And it will be recorded, as they all are, and put on the resource page for Horsepower Empowerment Through Connection for people to be able to access at a later date if they're not able to catch the live, as will our interview today. So
Yay.
thank you so much again for your time and just your lovely presence. I appreciate so much everything that you've shared. And yeah, we'll get to talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you for doing it. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Bye all.
Bye, everyone.